Hey, boys and girls. So we are here with to have a conversation with Philip. Phil or Philip?
I'm going to have to stop you for a sec. I just had a look at your title. My username or my StreamYard name is Biblical Account FTW.
Okay.
Do you see my my picture, my avatar?
Yep, I do. So
yeah, I said via emails that you can label the title, the topic of this discourse, whatever you want, so long you add my YouTube channel name to the title.
okay. A conversation with Biblical Accounts FTW.
Yep.
Let's see. What do you want to be called?
Biblical Accounts FTW.
Okay, no. What do you want us to call you in this conversation? That's a little long. Can I call you Bib?
Biblical.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Biblical Account FTW. Okay, got it. Saved it. Yeah, that's why I emailed the thing to you so that you could take a look at it. Because okay. I wanted to make sure you approved of the title. So anyway, so you asked to have a conversation with us or me. I'm not entirely sure. And so you probably know more about me than I know about you. You sound Australian. So you're up in the middle of the night, or?
I have listened to a few of your debates. John Maddox, for example.
Oh, that one, yes. Okay.
So I have listened to a few of your debates. I'm not too sure about Scott, on who he is. So as we agreed, we'll give like brief introductions and then we'll have a back and forth. So you can start your introduction.
Well, I go by speed of sound or mic. It doesn't matter. And I'm an atheist, always been an atheist. Did go to church for a short while when I was somewhere between 6 and 8 years old, and basically made a decision that Christianity was not for me at that early age. And then in my teenage years, I became interested in Buddhism, but I have been a secular Buddhist all of my life. And that's how I would identify my thinking, basically. But and that would mean that I'm an atheist. And starting around the year 2000 to 2010, I became a hard atheist. Not an agnostic, but an absolute hard atheist. Denying the possibility of a God. And that's me. And I'm a high school dropout, so don't know too much. Scott, why don't you give a little background for our friend?
Okay, let's see. You can call me Scott, even though my avatar says Hyena Guy. Or you can call me Hyena, either way. But Scott's what other people call me. I was, let's see, as far as my spiritual journey, I was a Christian from age 14 to about 40, 45 years old. and have studied the Bible extensively, including New Testament Greek and Old Testament Hebrew. Although I'm very, 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 very rusty on it, but due to for different reasons, I became an atheist and secularist and a humanist. I'm open to what the quote unquote spiritual experiences, but I'm real skeptical about the supernatural, the existence of a God, and things like that. If there's anything else you want to know, just ask.
Yep. And how about you? What's your? How did you get into all this?
I label myself as a biblical Christian presuppositionalist. I engage in Christian apologetics via YouTube, and I have a YouTube channel titled Biblical Account FTW. So that is my StreamYard avatar. That's my brief introduction about myself. I yield my time over to you.
Yeah, that's your channel is linked in our description. So, how long have you been a Christian? What was were you brought up as a Christian?
Our God of the Bible has always existed because he has made his divinity known to us all. What's your response?
No, I'm asking about you in particular. How long have you been a Christian? Were you a Christian when you were born? Did you?
As far back as I can remember.
Okay, so you were brought up at a Christian family, basically.
Yeah, you need to focus on our God of the Bible rather than focusing on me. So to reiterate, my earlier statement is that our God of the Bible has always existed because he has the necessary prerequisites to have always existed. What's your response?
I don't know how to respond to that. I don't have a response. So apparently you have always been a Christian. So you've never seen it any other way. You've never been an atheist. That's the question I'm asking you.
People choose to be atheist. People choose to label themselves as atheist. However, our God of the Bible, at terminus quo, has made his divinity known to you, and this comports with Romans 1 verse 20 in the Bible, is that since the creation of the world, God's invisible attributes, his eternal power and divine nature has been clearly seen and being understood from what has been made, so that people are without excuse. What's your response?
My response would be that's incorrect.
Yeah. Well,
what's incorrect?
That statement in the Bible. All it is one believer asserting what he thinks, and that's it. Just because he says it doesn't mean it's correct.
Right.
It doesn't reflect anymore my internal experience of things.
Physical matter cannot have always existed because it doesn't meet the prerequisites to be absolute. What's your response?
Doesn't make any sense.
What
do you know? Okay, are you a cosmologist or a physicist?
Your question is not a defeater to our God of the Bible. So to rephrase what I was saying earlier, is that
my question requires an answer. Are you a physicist?
Your question is not a defeater to our God of the Bible. So by using a reductio ad absurdum,
okay. Are we going to have a conversation here, or are you going to run a precept script on us? Because I want to have a conversation with a Christian. And so far, you said a lot of things that make no sense to me. Scott probably understands some of them because he was brought up as a Christian. But me, you're not making any sense at all. Okay, what does matter have to do? Matter, how long matter existed?
I'm using a reductio ad absurdum method to point out the fallacious reasoning behind presupposing physical matter to have always existed, because physical matter doesn't meet the prerequisites to be absolute. What's your response?
Well, matter and energy are somewhat equivalent, and the idea of matter is a little bit dubious to me. So I'm not sure how to respond to that. You're talking about, you
Can you give
want to
us?
talk about physics?
Yeah, can you give us what your definition of matter is?
Yeah, what is matter?
Because in some ways you can say that, well, under the Big Bang cosmologies I know of, matter didn't exist until a certain amount of time after the universe was able to cool off. So I guess you could say physicists also don't believe matter existed forever, but it would depend on what definition you give for matter.
Yeah, my definition of matter is that it's kind of like weird energy, like coalesced energy or something, or maybe the conjunction of fields. But I don't know what that has to do with Christianity. I don't know.
The physical material that you are surrounded with is clearly designed for there to be mutability and continuity over time. What's your response?
Okay, so here we have tried to have a discussion, and you didn't really respond to my question. Like, what's your
we are in this reductio ad absurdum method. So I'm asking you these questions because I know you two are lying. However, for the sake of this Discord, I'm going to stay on point here. So to reiterate what I said earlier is that the physical material that you are surrounded with is clearly designed for there to be mutability and continuity over time. What's your response?
My
that's all
response.
bullshit.
Oh, I'm sorry. My response is you're rude.
Yeah,
And
that's
another
just,
response is that I asked you a question, and I would really appreciate that we could dialogue about that.
Yeah,
you're in
can't
a
counter what I'm telling
absurdum,
you.
but I'm saying I really don't want to be in a reductio absurdum. I want to maybe get your point of view.
I'll reiterate and address what I'm telling you.
I don't think you
Just to
should
reiterate.
reiterate. I think you should move forward, because obviously reiterating isn't working for us.
The only
I think-
way for us to move forward is that you have to concede to our God of the Bible.
Hey, hold
So
on for
the
just a
sake of
second.
this-
I need to ask one of our side chatters something here. Hey, Jefferson, are you able to? Are you at lunch? Jefferson.
You've talked to Jefferson before. He's a friend
I'm
of yours.
gonna send an invite to Jefferson after this. So I'd rather focus on you two, and I'll talk to Jefferson
Well, I
afterwards
don't really-
if he's up for it.
Because I bet you if I were to ask Jefferson or Jason their definition of matter, they won't sputter and spew and everything, because it's very rude. You're avoiding the question. I don't know that this needs to be adversarial, because like I said, it depends on your definition of matter, because unless somebody who's more schooled in physics and the different types of cosmologies can tell me different. I'm thinking that even physicists don't agree that matter existed forever in the past, so or eternally or whatever. So it just depends on if you identify energy or energy. What is it? The energy balance, maybe. Where you have the negative. Excuse me, the negative and the positive balancing each other out to a sum of zero. I just don't know if they consider that matter or not. And I was just wanting to get your definition of matter.
Matter is a coalescence of fields. What is your response?
My definition of matter is physical material.
Physical
So
material.
the material. You can't deny reality. You are
Is
surrounded
energy
with
physical material? In your
Yeah.
Yes,
definition?
energy
Okay.
is physical.
Well, it may be
So
that I don't know the answer to
you're
that.
interrupting
question.
because you're trying to go down a rabbit trail because physical matter came into existence. What's your response?
Wait, how do you know that?
Because physical matter cannot have always existed. We've gone
Well,
through
yes,
this.
physical matter it comes into existence, I believe, as we speak. I mean, it comes in and out of existence, basically. I mean, you can convert matter into energy. You know, our weird classifications of matter and energy are just that, classifications, right? We're talking about quantum fields and things of that nature, things that none of the three of us know anything about, right? So I don't understand. You know, I'm not going to put a stamp of approval on some weird definition of matter as being the physical stuff that's in front of me, right? As a human, I encounter things at the macro level, and we have a definition of matter, you know, like my phone is seemingly made out of matter. It has mass. But I don't know what this has to do with God. So I don't know.
Your monologuing is not distracting me from my premise. Is
Good.
that
I
because
didn't want to distract. I wanted
well,
to.
my clarifying question to you is: quantum fields to you immaterial or physical?
Physical. This idea of material and immaterial doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Okay, physical. Everything's physical. There are fields. The universe is just one big, weird mix of chunky fields.
Physical matter can't create more particulars of itself unless you appeal to pantheism or a physical deity. What's your response?
What? That makes no sense either. Sorry.
You said that physical matter came into existence. What's your response?
I didn't say that.
Physical matter cannot have always existed.
I don't know what physical matter is. I know what physical is.
The physical material that you are surrounded with came into existence. What's your response?
How do you know that? What do you mean came into existence?
Because our God of the Bible has made it known to us via general revelation.
He didn't make it known to me.
The opposite to physical matter is our God of the Bible, and this comports with the law of polarity. So going back to our reductio ad absurdum is that physical matter in a non-theistic worldview cannot have always existed because it's not complex enough to move on its own unless you appeal to an absolute consciousness / mind, and only a physical deity meets that prerequisite. Therefore, physical matter had to have come into existence contingent on our God of the Bible. What's your response?
That's a fairy tale that you made up. You just made up. If you could support any of that, that would be cool.
Genesis 1:1, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. What's your response?
I have no idea what that means.
Our God of the Bible created you. What's your response?
What? How do you know that?
Because he has made it known to us that he is absolute and ultimate.
How did he make it known to us? Did I miss the memo? I didn't get the memo.
His absolute aseity transcends into our reality.
Okay, why do you think the Bible has anything to do with anything? Why do you believe that the Bible tells you anything about physics? Why do you believe that?
I know our God of the Bible exists, and
you know
via the laws of force in the law of polarity.
What's the law of force and what's the law of polarity? Okay, we're
the opposite to physical matter is our God of the Bible, because our God of the Bible is an immaterial / ethereal God, and only he meets the prerequisites to have always existed because he is absolute and ultimate. What's your response?
You're still not making any sense, Scott. Does this make any sense?
No, I think I'm looking up this law of polarity. The first entry I found for it was something to do with Tony Robbins.
How about the Bible?
And definitely it's not in the Bible. Also, there's something about a guy named Tompkins, and I think he may just be another presuppositionalist. So that's a presuppositional assertion. It seems like, although I would have to do more actual study to competently address it.
Yep. Oh, good and evil, love and hate, attraction and disconnection. This is some bullshit philosophy thing. I don't know what it is. Okay, so we're not with you on any of that. Can you? Maybe you can find a way to bridge the gap. I don't know, but you're not bridging the gap very well. You're
I'd like
not
to
giving me
understand
anything,
your view rather than respond to assertions.
I mean, it
Your
sounds
claim,
like
your claim
My
of
claim?
quantum fields.
my claim
Are
of
they
what?
fit? You made a claim of quantum fields earlier. So are quantum fields to you immaterial or
Quantum
physical?
field. They're physical.
Physical matter can't create more of itself. What's your response?
How do you know that?
You need a deity for there to be a creation point. You need a consciousness to choose to create more of itself in this scenario, and only a physical deity meets those prerequisites. What's your response?
I am not a physicist.
This is your claim, so you know where this is going. That's why you're trying to stalemate this.
You know where this is going. No, I don't know where this is going. This doesn't make any sense. You're just presupping some weird deity thing, which I have no idea what the hell that is, or how you could even support such a thing. And you're saying that it created matter. Well, okay. I don't know that. Matter? Have no idea where the hell it came from. We know we had the big expansion in time and space, right? Time and space expanded, the big expansion. We don't know if it just popped out of nowhere. I don't think it did. Okay, I think it's part of a greater, higher dimensional reality that we don't know anything about mathematically yet, and we're trying to figure it out. And I don't understand why you're talking about things that the brightest minds on this earth don't know yet, and trying to come up with some sort of what do you call it, argument from absurdity or whatever. I don't understand how you're doing any of this. I don't understand where you're coming from. You're
have
speaking a wrong
contradicted
language.
yourself because
Contradicting myself. Okay.
your claim of a finite in size starting point is contingent.
I didn't say it
on
was a finite starting point. I didn't say that. No, I don't
You
think
said
it is a
that
finite starting
you
point.
made the claim of an expansion. Therefore,
Yeah, I said an expansion in four dimensions, possibly inside of any greater number of dimensions, and we don't know what those other dimensions have to do with it, right? So
our God of the
basically, if you have a three-dimensional space and you have a four-dimensional object, you may not see that object in that three-dimensional space until that fourth dimension intersects with those three dimensions, right? That's probably what the Big Bang was. Okay,
you're still presupposing a finite in size starting point contingent.
No, where did I do that? Where did I do that?
You made the claim of an expansion. Therefore, it is expanding into a particular that is infinite in size or infinitude, and this comports with a deity because outside the curvature of said finite in size particular would be an immaterial, infinite in size / absolute God, our God of the Bible. What's your response?
I didn't say it was immaterial. I said there was something outside in a higher dimensional space, right? That intersected with our space, and we see it as an expansion. Rather than an expansion, it could just be that it's passing through. Okay? Do you understand what it's like to have higher dimensional objects pass through lower dimensional spaces? Do you understand that geometry?
Is space to you immaterial?
Immaterial. That doesn't make any sense at all.
That's a clarifying question in relation
Okay, is
to your
space
claim.
matter? No, if space was matter, we would be fairly constipated, wouldn't we?
It'd
So
be like
there's
the universe
Space to you
existing in Jell-O.
immaterial.
There's time and
The true
space.
dichotomy.
Okay, there is time and space, and there are fields in time and space. And when you have basically two fields that intersect or interact, you may end up with something that is a bit of matter, right? Something that has mass. I don't know how that works because I'm not a physicist, but that's as far as my imagination goes, that's what it is. So I didn't say anything about something being created or matter being created. I said that there's a higher dimensionality, and we are inside of this four-dimensional space looking at everything, and we see something that we call the expansion, and we see that as our universe. And we can only see out so far, so we don't know what's beyond the horizon that we cannot see. And of course, we have mathematics that we're working on to deal with this, but we don't know any of this. So we know none of this. So we're talking about shit that we know nothing about, and you're trying to make hay with it.
If you're presupposing naturalism, you're relying on a miracle for there to be mutability or change over time. However, a miracle can only comport with our God of the Bible as he created physical matter. You need a miracle. Yeah. Hang on, let me finish. If you make the assertion of a miracle, you need physical matter to have come into existence and then natural processes took over. However, if you're presupposing physical matter to have always existed, you need an absolute consciousness / mind as a starting point to secure all particulars in reality for there to be mutability and continuity over time. What's your response?
Why do you need a mind? What does a mind do for you?
This is empirical because I am in control of my body, but I'm not a part. So I can move my foot. However, my mind is the apex of my vessel. So you need a mind, a consciousness to secure all of reality, and only a God meets that prerequisite. What's your response?
So you're a God and you can put both your toes on your forehead? You said you're in control of your body. You're in absolute control of your body, you think?
That's an analogy. I was putting things into perspective. You're trying to go down a rabbit trail because you know this is turning. You have no counter argument to this. So to reiterate, for a particular to have always existed has to be absolute / singular by default. What's your response?
Nonsense. You're talking nonsense to me. I don't understand anything you're saying.
The contrary.
Okay, hang on a second. You have some fantasy. You have some fairy tale that you put together in your mind, and it has to do with matter and laws of polarity and a whole bunch of other stuff. And in order to flesh this out, we may have to come up with a biblical text to even draw this out. So I don't know what the hell you're talking about. And you're claiming that I'm going down a rabbit trail running from something, that some conclusion that you think is just foregone, right? But I'm not even beginning to see how your mind works. I mean, it seems like it's a real mess up there. You want to sort it out for us? Okay, you have what? Okay, you have a universe where what? There's matter. Okay, the world around us now, right? Okay, matter, energy, however you want to hash it out, right? So we know about that. We can reach out and touch that right now. We can do all sorts of empirical stuff with that. Start there. That's what we know. What else do you have besides this matter?
For a particular to have always existed has to be everywhere. I'm rephrasing. I'm breaking this down for you. I'm breaking this down. For a particular to have always existed has to be everywhere by default. What's your response?
Okay, a particular? Okay, give me an idea. Give me an example. What's a particular?
It's a metaphysical term, so address what I'm telling you. For a particular to have always existed has to be everywhere by default. What's your response?
For a particular to have always existed, it has to be everywhere by default. What is a particular? A particle? What is a
For
particular?
something to have always existed has to
What do
be
you know
everywhere
about always?
by default.
Wait a minute. Back up. You keep going to this always existed. You refuse to define a particular, okay? And now you're talking about something always existing, which you know nothing about. That empirically, the world around us, okay, we don't know how long any of this has been or will be, okay? We don't know any of that. So that's beyond us, okay? But you're refusing to define a particular, and you're making statements. I'm trying to draw a logical statement. So first of all, we have to define our terms. What is a particular?
I will break this down for you.
Just define it.
For something to have always existed has to be everywhere by default. What's your response?
Hang on.
I think Speed may be having to respond to a phone call.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a weird one. Okay, so catch me up. Where are we? You were defining particular for me.
For something to have always existed has to be everywhere by default. What's your response?
So particular is something that has always existed. I don't know of anything that's always existed. Do you know of anything that's always existed? Give me an example.
Our God of the Bible has always existed.
I don't believe in that.
And ultimate. So address what I'm telling you. So we are still in this reductio ad absurdum method of reasoning, as this exposes an impersonal reality to be fictitious. So to reiterate what I said earlier is that for something to have always existed has to be everywhere by default. What's your response?
I don't know of anything that's always existed. Give me an example.
Something can't, absolute nothing requires a cause. What do you mean
absolute nothing? I don't know what absolute nothing is.
For something to have spawned into existence has to be absolute by default. Therefore,
what has
our God of the Bible is the necessary antecedent cause for the creation of the universe. What's your response?
Okay, for something to spawn into existence, say a carbon atom. Okay, so basically we have neutrons, protons, electrons, and in a star, the carbon atom comes into existence. Okay, so it came into existence, and that is a particular, right? A carbon atom could be a particular. Is that what you're talking about? So it didn't always exist.
Your claim doesn't meet the prerequisites to be absolute. In other words, infinite in size or / unlimited in size. So you need a God, our God of the Bible, as the necessary cause for a particular to have spawned into existence, not only for its size, but for its functionality, for there to be mutability and continuity over time. What's your response?
What? We're talking about a carbon atom. Okay, so a carbon atom came into existence. Okay, what is absolute? Infinite, or always
absolute?
Why would it be absolute? I don't even know what that means. I don't know what absolute means. Absolute doesn't comport in my worldview. Okay,
absolute in size. In other words, everywhere by default.
Carbon is everywhere by default. My little carbon atom. No,
hang on.
No.
Your
practical spot.
assertion, you made a claim of something spawning into existence, and my clarifying question to you, was it absolute or not absolute when it came into existence?
Absolute doesn't have any meaning to me at all. I don't know
Was
what
it
you're talking
infinite in size or not
Carbon?
infinite
No.
in size?
Carbon's pretty small.
Then you have infinite regress fallacy. You have, by default, for something to have come into existence has to be all of reality. So your assertion of a physical particular coming into existence without a cause is fallacious, because you need a mind, a consciousness, our God of the Bible, for there to be mutability and continuity of the same material of a three-dimensional structure, for there to be any life at all. What's your response?
Why does there have to be a mind?
Because a choice, you need a mind can only comport with the mechanism of choosing to change its status quo. To go from 0 to 1 requires an unmoved mover or an immutably mutable particular, and only a mind comports with that precondition. What's your response?
Prove it. How does a mind do that?
We are talking. We are moving now.
Okay, mind can change a 0 to a 1. What are you even talking about, a 0 to a 1? Now we're talking about mathematics? I have no idea what you're talking about. Okay, tell me why a mind is required for my carbon atom to come into existence in the center of a star. Why do I need a mind for that?
For many reasons. Is that the material around us is really designed, because, for example, a ceiling has functionality over time. So therefore, the material. So I'll break this down for you. So I'll give you a simple analogy. If something, say a piece of string, came into existence, and you went to pick up the string, and then the material was consistent, the functionality. For us to identify this object to have functionality requires an antecedent cause, a mind to have chosen to create said particular with its complexity. What's your response?
So for there to be a string, okay, like a spider web, that's a string, right? You're saying there has to be a mind. How do you support that? How does there have to be a mind to make a spider web?
The contrary to a mind is fallacious, because the universe requires a cause. The universe requires our God of the Bible as the necessary cause, the primary mover. What's your response?
Prove that. Tell me. Okay, God of the Bible. Okay, so you're talking about a particular God. So you're going to prove to me that the universe requires that God to have the things around us that we have. There had to be a God. Prove that part.
Our God of the Bible, because for something to spawn into existence from nothing requires a cause. What's your response?
Something to spawn into existence from nothing. When has anything ever spawned into existence from nothing in front of you?
This is your worldview.
No, it's not. I never said anything came into existence.
My reductio ad absurdum still stands. So you made this claim.
No, I didn't claim that anything came into existence from nothing. I said basically something from a higher dimensionality passed through another dimension. There's just change, okay? And to us, it looks like an expansion from some small point, but that's not really what happened. So I don't know what you're talking about. So I never said anything came into existence from nothing. I said the carbon atom, okay, came into existence because of a coalition of things that were there before. Okay. So everything has something that was there before. And yes, infinite regress. I don't know where those things came from. I don't know what the beginning of the story is. I only know what's around me. So given what's around us right now, prove to me that you require a mind to make what is around us right now.
You appealed to an infinite regress. However, an infinite regress is fallacious because a set of multiple finitude particulars is contingent on an infinitude particular that can transcend to secure all particulars in reality. And only our God of the Bible meets that prerequisite because he is immaterial / ethereal by default and absolute. What's your response?
Jesus Christ. That's my response. Okay. I have no idea what you just said. No idea what you just said.
You appealed to an infinite regress of multiple.
I didn't appeal to it. I said that's the case. Okay, the infinite regress, going all the way back to where the thing that became the carbon atom at a particular point in time, in this particular 4-dimensional space-time, right? Basically, possibly had an infinite regress, but I didn't appeal to it because I don't know what it is. I don't know what's back there. I don't know what shape it was. Okay. All I know is that we have a carbon atom. That's all I know empirically. How does it require a mind?
And did it come into existence?
The carbon atom?
Yes,
we would think so. We would think so, but not really, because it was a coalition of fields that were already there. Already, there's change. So we have change, and in that change, we humans would say, oh, something came into existence because it was formed. Like this cat in front of me was born. I could say, oh, yeah, he came into existence. But I mean, that's not the whole story, right?
For a three-dimensional particular to spawn into existence requires a consciousness. For A, B,
Why
and
does it
C
require a
spawn
consciousness?
into existence simultaneously for each other. I'm going to reiterate that. For a three-dimensional structure with height, depth, and width requires a mind as the cause for A, B, and C to spawn into existence simultaneously of each other. What's your response?
Will you knock it off with the what's your response stuff? You're really starting to irritate me. Okay, we have a carbon atom that basically came into coalescence, okay, at a particular point in time. What does that require consciousness?
The 3 dimensions of a shape requires a mind as the necessary antecedent cause of said shape. What's your response?
Why does it require a mind? I don't see that. You're not making your case. It doesn't require a mind. The carbon atom, there were no minds around when this carbon atom came into existence in a star. Not the one I'm looking at in my cat's hair. Okay, so
A,
you're not making any sense.
And C, A, B, and C to spawn into existence requires a cause. What's your response?
What does it require a cause? What do you mean by cause? A, B, and C. Okay, carbon atom. What caused it?
Our God of the Bible.
I don't see things as cause. I see things as correlation, basically as regularities. I don't see cause and effect. Cause and effect doesn't make any sense to me. So use another word. So the carbon atom seems to have appeared at a particular point in time, or a little interval of time where this carbon atom came into existence in the center of a star. Why does that require a mind?
For a three-dimensional shape to spawn into existence with height, depth, and width requires a cause for A, B, and C to spawn into existence simultaneously of each other. What's your response?
I've never seen anything spawn into existence, so I don't know what you're
This
talking
is your
about.
claim. This is your claim.
No,
We
it
are-
isn't my. No,
This
you're
is
no,
your.
no.
This
It is not
we
my
are my
claim.
reductio. My
It's not
reductio ad
my
absurdum. My
claim.
reductio ad absurdum still stands.
Back up. Not my claim. Okay, you keep saying it's not my claim, and this conversation is going to end. It is not my claim. I'm saying the coalescence happened at a point in space-time. That's it. Okay, and you're starting. And you're talking about okay, you're supposed to be telling me how a mind is required to make this somewhat three-dimensional, four-dimensional, 11-dimensional carbon atom come into existence. Tell me why a mind is required. Why is consciousness required?
Do you label your reality to be three-dimensional?
No. Why would I do that?
What do you label your reality to be?
4 plus. 4 plus n dimensional. I don't know what n is. I'm not a physicist.
Is your screen three-dimensional from your perspective?
Seems to be.
So this goes back to my earlier point, is that for a physical particular to have spawned into existence with height, depth, and width requires our God of the Bible as the necessary cause.
Why?
What's your response?
Why? You haven't even begun to make that yet. A three-dimensional thing. First of all, three-dimensional things don't spawn into existence in my world. I've never seen that happen.
Physical matter.
I've seen bubbles form. I've seen things change, but I've never seen something spawn into existence. When have you ever seen anything spawn into existence?
Physical matter cannot have always existed because it doesn't meet the prerequisites
Why not?
to be absolute, and it can't move on its own without an external particular.
Okay, so if three-dimensional matter couldn't, if it started to exist, three-dimensional matter, if I grant you that there was a start to existence, how does that require something to do with a human mind? How do you make that case?
It requires a God.
Why does it require that? Why?
Because our God is absolute and ultimate by default. What's your response?
I'm an atheist. What are you talking about?
That's not a defeater. My reductio ad absurdum.
How does it require mind for something to pop into or to spawn into existence? As you seem to think things have happened, right? You seem to think that things spawned into existence at some point. When? When did they do that?
Our God of the Bible created the universe, and this comports with the law of cause and effect. So so to reiterate what I said earlier, is that the universe came into existence. What's your response? Physical matter was created. What's your response?
If it came into existence, if I grant that it came into existence, ex nihilo, or is that how you say it? Just popped into existence, right? If I grant that, why does it require a mind or cause? If it just popped into existence, spawned into existence, why does it need a cause? Causes have to do with hold on. Causes have to do with correlations, regularities among existing things changing, right? If there was nothing and all of a sudden the universe popped up, why did it need a cause? And why did that cause need to be a mind?
for a shape
Your
with height,
response.
depth, and width requires a designer for there to
Why?
be the material around you is consistent with height, depth, and width. Therefore, it is irreducibly complex. Therefore, our God of the Bible is the necessary antecedent cause for the
Why?
creation of the universe.
Why couldn't it have just spawned into existence, like you said, and just spawned into existence? Why did it need a mind or whatever this God thing is you keep talking about? Why did it need any of that? Why? Why didn't it just popped up, just spawned into existence? When do you think that happened, by the way? When do you think it spawned?
Well, I'm not going down your rabbit trail. So,
No, you're going to go down my goddamn rabbit trail because I'm asking you questions, okay? And we're having a conversation. So don't keep throwing rabbit trail at me and trying to run your precept script on me. I'm trying to get you down to the point where you realize how ridiculous what you're saying is. If something spawned into existence, why does it require a cause?
Because for a particular to have come into existence would either be absolute or not absolute. What's your response?
What does absolute mean?
Infinite / infinitude in size / omnipresent / unlimited in size / everywhere by default.
But if it didn't exist, how could it be everywhere by default? How could it be infinite in size and extent and mass and whatever by default if it didn't exist, if it spawned into existence? If it spawned into existence, it didn't require anything. It wasn't infinite. It didn't require anything. Time and space would spawn into existence. Why did it require a cause? What is your response?
Because for a particular would either be absolute or not absolute, or finitude or infinitude, limited or unlimited, contingent or not contingent. What's your response?
Those dichotomies do not work if something spawns into existence because none of those things are required. If it didn't exist, it didn't have to have any of those properties. It spawned into existence, just popped up. Why did it require a cause?
Was it everywhere or not? Your claim, was it everywhere or not everywhere when it came into existence?
If it came into existence, it would be, there wouldn't be an everywhere. If the universe came into an existence, there wouldn't be any everywhere. There wouldn't be an infinite extent. There wouldn't be any absolutes. There wouldn't be anything. And there wouldn't need to be a cause. It would just pop up. You're the one that believes the universe spawned. Yeah, we're almost at 12 o'clock.
I just wanted to observe that we've been going on for over 45 minutes. And I think some of our side chat people would like to ask some questions.
Yeah,
hang on. You're trying to get out of this. My reductio ad absurdum still stands. So my clarifying question.
If I indeed am trying to get out of this, then I most certainly will, because I have this free will thing. So there's that. Okay, so our chat wants to ask you some questions.
My clarifying question to you still stands, is that when physical material came into existence, was it everywhere or not everywhere from your perspective, in your worldview?
You're not making sense. If it came into existence, how could it be anywhere?
Everywhere.
How could it be everywhere, anywhere, nowhere? How could it be anything at all?
This is my clarifying question to you. You have to support your claim. So to reiterate my question.
No, this is actually, okay, no, this is your claim. Your claim that everything spawned into existence.
The universe, physical matter cannot have always existed. Physical matter cannot have always existed.
Your claim is that it spawned into existence, okay? Why did it require a cause?
Because the material is irreducibly complex. Therefore, a cause, an intelligent mind is necessary precondition.
Well, if it's irreducibly complex, how did it spawn into existence? Okay, if it's
Our God
spawned
of
into existence, it's spawned into existence as is in all of its glory and complexity. Why did it require a cause? What is your response?
Our God of the Bible is absolute, and he chose to create the universe with height, depth, and width, and your reality is three-dimensional. So going back to our reductio ad absurdum is that my clarifying question to you is that when physical matter came into existence, was it everywhere or not everywhere in your
And I've
worldview?
answered the question over and over again. If it came into existence, you can't say anything about what it was before it existed,
It's a true
including
dichotomy.
that there was a cause.
You need to
No,
address.
no. Okay, you're not making any sense. Go think. We have some questions from chat. I'm bowing out of this. So
You're
Scott,
not getting out of this.
I am getting. I can get out of this any damn time I want. Now, do you want to answer questions from the chatters, or do you want to go away? What do you want to do? What do you want to do? Do you want to answer questions?
You're not answering. You're not
Do you want to
answering my
answer
clarifying
questions
question.
from our chat?
You're not answering. You're not answering my clarifying
Scott.
question.
Scott, let's call
Sir.
this.
You're not answering.
It would be really cool if you
my
would.
clarifying question.
It would be really cool if you would answer the questions from people in our side chat. They are honest questions about your point of view, and we're not getting anywhere. It's been 45 minutes, and we really don't need to take it much longer than that because of lack of interest after a certain point. But people always are interested in their questions being answered. So, would you like to take some questions from the side chat?
You're not getting. You haven't answered my clarifying question.
It's a yes or no question. You're not giving us an answer. So,
yes or no question. Do you want to take questions from the side chat? Do you want to take questions?
Why are you not answering my question first? Answer me that.
You know the reason why.
What's the reason?
It's been over 45 minutes. We're not getting anywhere in this conversation.
We are.
And people want to have.
I still remember the question. Answered. I still remember my question for him.
Well, so I'm so glad you remember it that you don't have dementia or something. But the fact is, it's been 45 minutes, and we would sure like to have you be able to answer some questions from people.
We are almost at the end of this, so answer my clarifying question as we are almost at the end of this, and I'll remove the reductio ad absurdum that I put up, pointing out, exposing your fallacious worldview. So my clarifying question.
My assessment is you just made a bunch of bare assertions. We asked you for we asked you to, clarify what you mean. You just repeat the same thing over again. This is going nowhere.
I'm the one asking him a clarification.
Okay. Do you want to go ahead and throw him out?
Yeah, I'm done. Okay. We're done. Okay.
Well, thanks for coming. He can hear me, right? He can hear me.
I think he can hear you. Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming and talking.
Thanks for whatever the hell that was.
But we're going to go ahead and say good day. Sorry that we couldn't get more of information about your point of view.
Jefferson, are you still out there, by the way? Is this guy a flat earther? I heard you say he was a flat earther, that he actually believed in a flat earth. I don't know. Anyway, so does anybody want to come in? I'm going to throw the link out there, and then we're going to end the show.
I've already thrown it.
Oh, you have? Okay. So Jefferson, if you want to come in and have a short chat, that would be cool. So
or Dr. Josh or High Inquisitor asked a couple of questions, so maybe he wanted to give us also. Anyway, anybody who would just like to click on that, and
we might cover
your response. Maybe point out where we could have done it differently.
Cover it a little bit in the weather. I just don't see where you can go with a guy who just keeps saying, your response. Anyway, let's end this, okay?
Well,
shall we? Oh, wait, what happened to David?
David came in, and
David gone.
He
But anyway,
left.
come back, David. Okay. Scott, I'm ending the broadcast, okay?
Okay.
Okay.